time for Open Line Friday. Your chance to join the conversation and talk about what you want to talk about. Call the Jackson Electric Open Line at 672-KROE. That's 672-5763. Now, your hosts on the Jackson Electric Open Lines, Steve Sisson and Floyd Whiting.
And good morning. Welcome to the Jackson Electric Open Line. I'm Steve Sisson. Floyd Whiting is out. He'll be back on Monday. Joining us in the studio, Madison Danforth, Aaron Linden, and Gene Sterling is here. We got a big event. The first of the film series is this weekend at the YO Theater.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. We're airing Red River and our celebrity presenter will be Buck Brenneman, who is quite extensively knowledgeable on horsemanship and making movies.
Right. Do you know off the top of your head how many years these films have been shown at the theater? It's been quite a few.
Yeah, it's over 15, I think.
Yeah.
But
so we have a big tradition going here now.
Yes, I think it's probably one of the longest running Western film festivals going. A lot of these films have not been seen in a theater setting in decades.
Right. Once in a while, you have one that is well known amongst people even who aren't fans of westerns. But
Tombstone. We did Tombstone here, and when it turned 25.
Okay. This year, I'm not familiar with any of these movies, so let's talk about the one that's coming up this weekend.
Red River is a John Wayne film. Howard Hawks, who did a lot of John Wayne's, did Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and The Searchers. Only did black and white. He said that Technicolor was garish.
Well, he was kind of right, actually. Technicolor has a very...
It's something in black and white, if you notice, the shadows of people are always very long because they bring in those reflectors, and so the sunshine is actually coming sideways. So even in this, you can see in this poster, his shadow goes clear out of frame.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I never thought about that. That's true. That's a look.
It's really an amazing big film. And John Wayne plays the heavy in this, although he's the good guy because it's his cattle drive, and it's a 10,000 cow cattle drive, and there is 10,000 cows.
Oh wow, really?
The stampede scene in this movie is epic.
I can imagine.
And there's actually a stuntman out there that goes down. His horse does a flip in there, but there's some quick editing because he's back up on his feet in seconds. But
I can imagine the logistics of shooting a scene like that, where you actually,
especially back then,
right? Yeah,
the chuck wagon always goes first.
Well, people follow the food.
Stampede, get away from the chuck wagon.
That's right. That's the first thing to go. Absolutely. So about actually attending the films, you just get tickets at the YO and
online or at the ticket booth, or you can call on the phone.
And how are they shown? Obviously, you have a presenter that kind of sets the scene and talks about the film.
There is. We do some setup for the presenter. We give away some. I donated one of my custom knives. Each week that you come, your chances get better to win the knife, and they're really nice. Then there's other things, and we'll talk about some things that are going on. We'll talk about our sponsors, and then Buck will get up and he will set up the film and what he saw in his viewing of the film. Aaron is one of our presenters.
Did I agree to that?
I noticed right at this moment you did.
I noticed I put the film on your desk and it's still there. So.
He'll need to watch it at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
So you have celebrity presenters.
Wow. They're really dragging the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, you're up against
toward the end.
Stiff wind here. We got Sean Patrick Higgins next week with Duel in the Sun, which I like to call the good, the bad, and the other bad. And then we have Craig Johnson with One-Eyed Jacks. It's like the very first of what would become the spaghetti Western genre.
Okay.
Although it was filmed in Mexico. This is the one and only time that Marlon Brando was behind the camera as well.
Oh, interesting.
The only film that he ever directed. It's different. He's got that Mike Tyson voice. And right. Yeah. And he does he tends to be a Mexican, and he infiltrates the Mexicans in this cantina, and he has this long argument with this real Mexican guy, and he's got this. He's going, "You have the very best pulque in all of Mexico." And he goes, "We have the very best pulque." It's, this scene in this bar is a must see.
Which week is that?
That's next week.
Okay. I meant to make plans for that one. So the first one is they're Saturday, right?
Sundays.
Sundays.
At 2 o'clock.
Okay. Sundays at 2 o'clock.
We have 5 films this year. Normally we only have 4, but we had a very generous donor who said he would pay for a 5th week.
Fantastic. So it's growing.
And it wasn't me, by the way.
Well, generous has never been a word I think I've attributed with your name. So,
And it wasn't me, even though I'm the last of the 5.
Yeah.
that's
So,
why
yeah.
I had to wrangle for Aaron at the last.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Who can we pull?
Anything else you want to mention about these before we turn you loose?
No, I appreciate the your having me here. One thing,
Didn't have a choice.
the Red River. There is a celebrity here that was born here in town. His name was Floyd Teleferro Alderson. He is a character in this. He's one of the cowboys, and really distinctive. He was born in Sheridan, passed away in Sheridan. His family is going to be at the filming.
Oh, how fun!
Very cool.
He's a very distinctive guy in the movie.
Okay.
We'll explain so everybody know who he is in the show. But
Oh, fantastic!
I've always liked him as a character actor. I think character actors make Western films.
Absolutely, yes, very much so.
We have Walter Brennan in this one, and he has a thing where he lost his false teeth in a poker game to this Native American. But the Native American gives him his teeth back only at dinner time.
Oh my gosh.
And then he takes them back again. He keeps them in this little red pouch. And he goes, "Me want tooth." Yeah, and he takes his teeth away from him again. He goes, "Dang it. Calvary's coming."
That's the classic Western old timey voice.
Yes,
right there,
yeah.
All right, so this Sunday, 2 o'clock, first one, and then every week to follow that for the next 5.
Next 5.
And excellent. All right, thanks, Gene, for stopping in, and we'll see you at the YO this weekend.
Appreciate it.
All right, our topic this week on the Jackson Electric Open Line, our poll question was dealing with the Mandela effect, which, of course, is named after Nelson Mandela, the South African activist who spent a long time in prison, 27 years. And he was released in 1990 and passed away in 2013, but a lot of people don't remember it that way.
Correct.
I suppose, Madison, you don't. I mean, obviously you weren't alive when...
Well, we had to watch a thing my sophomore year. We watched a whole movie about like him being imprisoned and like everything that he did. Like, he didn't eat for forever too, like when he was in prison?
Yeah, he
or
had some health
something like
issues. He
that.
was moved from place to place.
But
so-
no, he did it for like protest or something. I can't remember, but I remember we watched a movie about it for like the span of a week, and I just remember coming to English class and we were watching a movie.
That was always a good day.
They rolled in the projector. It was great.
So the term Mandela effect was coined in 2009 by Fiona Broom.
Correct.
She was talking about it with some friends, I think, how she remembered him passing away
In prison.
and sometime in the 1980s.
Correct.
And she was actually kind of surprised, one, to learn that that hadn't happened, and then two, that a lot of other people remembered it happening.
Absolutely.
And so she started a website that kind of started chronicling these things. Our poll question was, have you had a personal experience with the Mandela effect? And this one's kind of unusual in the results. 48% said no, they have not experienced the Mandela effect. That was followed by unsure at 28%, and then yes at 23%.
And I can't help but wonder if the no's were like, I don't know what the Mandela effect is, so I guess I haven't.
And maybe the unsures as well, possibly. I thought we would
Right.
see more yeses than nos.
Right.
But I guess for me personally, I've only had one experience that I would say for sure is the Mandela effect. I think because it has to be something that you very vividly and strongly believe to be a certain way, and then you almost can't comprehend that it's not that way.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been wrong about a lot of things. So
Wait, say that one more time.
I'm now.
No, it's on the record.
Yeah, it's on the record. It's done. But the one I had, I'm a big James Bond fan.
Yes.
I've seen all those movies many times. And in the Roger Moore film Moonraker, which is the second one with Richard Cale playing Jaws, the big, tall
Yes. Yep.
bad guy with the big metal teeth.
Big silver teeth.
Yes. Toward the end of that movie, he turns to the side of good. And one of the things that precipitates his turn to good is he falls in love. He meets a woman and he smiles at her with his big metal teeth, and she smiles back at him with her braces, and there's
Right.
that connection. Except she doesn't have braces.
Right.
And
But everybody remembers her having braces.
Yes. I was so sure of that. I discovered, I think I was watching a video on YouTube about a guy talking about that. And when he said that, I thought, that's not right. Maybe he's seeing a different version of the film than I saw.
Right.
Of course, being a Bond fan, I have them on Blu-ray and DVD
Oh, yeah.
and VHS. And in fact, in this case, I still had the first time I ever saw that movie was recorded it off a TV on VHS. And I had that tape still. I went back and saw, well, maybe my TV version was different or something. So I went back and looked at it. No braces.
Right.
On any of those copies.
Right.
So why do I remember her having braces so vividly?
That's the thing about this, though, is it's this collective memory, false memory, essentially. And why do we have that? And I desperately tried to get the better Erin to come in because
I know, I was hoping she would be
some
here,
of
yeah.
things trigger her beyond belief.
Well, the issue was we'd have to use the 7-second delay.
Yes, right, exactly. But like 3 examples for her are Fruit of the Loom, right? Their
Okay.
logo. You know, you ask people, what is the Fruit of the Loom logo?
Isn't it like, I don't know, doesn't it say Fruit of the Loom and then it has like their fruit?
Uh-huh. And what else?
I don't know.
Right. But most people, if you ask them, they go, well, it's coming out of a cornucopia. Never has been. And she's like, no,
Just a bunch of
that
fruit,
is
yeah.
not right. And I'm like, hey, I don't know what to tell you. The other is Snow White, the old animated version. Everybody quotes that as mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the
Yes.
fairest of them all.
Yep.
It's not. It's Magic Mirror. I have one in particular that triggers me because I'm like, no, that's not right. Because I vividly remember seeing the painting, you know, I don't know, 3rd, 4th grade, art class, whatever. Louis VIII, right? Big, huge guy, big, like kind of furry, cheetah printish,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
outfit,
yes.
holding a giant, like, Ren-Fen turkey leg.
Yeah.
He's not holding a turkey leg. And I'm like, yes, he is. Yes, he is. And no, it didn't exist. It exists now. People have made
Yes,
it because
yes.
so many people remembered it that way that they ended up creating it.
I guess the one that I was just looking like up examples of the Mandela effect and the Monopoly Man,
Yeah.
his monocle.
His monocle. Yeah.
I always thought that he had one, and I just found out that he doesn't just right now. But
So a lot
so
of
weird.
A lot of people will. So in research, you know, they go, why? Why are people remembering this stuff?
Yes.
Monopoly Man and the Planters Peanut guy, kind of synonymous at the same time, coming out. Planters Peanut guy, monocle. Monopoly guy, no monocle. So your memory just kind of puts it together. Or you're trying to think back and there's an effect in your mind where if you don't know the details, your brain kind of fills in.
Yes.
And that's why a lot of people will go, okay, fruit, you know, and pumpkins and things at Thanksgiving
often
are
see them.
in a cornucopia.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they put it together with Fruit of the Loom. But why is it so vivid? And why do you remember it so adamantly? The braces on the gal.
Yeah.
Exactly. I thought the same thing. I go back and watch it and I'm like, I had a false childhood. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. The universe changed around me.
Well, and so that becomes kind of that weird conspiracy thing. And, you know, like Schreffler was saying one day, he goes, what if those things were there and now they're not?
Right.
You know, they fired up the CERN, which is the nuclear research. It's the European Organization for Nuclear Research. It's the largest particle physics laboratory in the world.
Yeah.
Could they have fired that up and created an alternate universe where they're like, well, in this universe, there is no cornucopia on Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah.
Is it somebody in the Matrix going, okay, let's see who's paying attention?
Right?
Who knows?
And some of them get affected, other people don't.
Right.
The location of New Zealand is one of them. A lot of people remember it being north
yes.
of Australia, but it's actually south.
Right. There's so many weird examples of this that people give. You know, people thought Curious George had a tail.
Yes.
Never did.
Yeah.
This one's one of my favorites. I grew up on Looney Tunes. That's why I do 100 and some voices, right?
It shaped your life.
It shaped my life. And I vividly remember, I mean, I can't tell you how many thousands of hours. I still watch Looney Tunes.
Saturday morning.
Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
And it was Looney, Looney, Tunes, Toone, or Toons.
For cartoons.
Right.
Yes.
No,
Is it Tunes?
Tunes.
See, I remember it that way.
No, I don't recall that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
But I go and I ask people, I'm like, what was one of your favorite peanut butters growing up as a kid? And they're like, Jiffy. I'm like, really? Because there was no Jiffy.
There was no Jiffy. Yeah.
There was Jif and there was Skippy. So are you putting them together in your mind because you like both of them?
I think that's kind of what happens a lot. There's the thing with Alexander Hamilton.
Yes.
You know, founding father, but not a president.
No.
But people will often think he was a president.
Right.
And I think it's because you kind of lump Alexander Hamilton in with, you know, founding father.
Right.
It kind of goes in that group of in that part of your brain that remembers presidents.
Right.
And somehow it gets conflagrated there and becomes a president.
And it becomes a memory.
That just triggered the whole musical in my head.
I figured it would.
Well, this is another trigger for the other Aaron. They used to have parties for this. Like they'd get together, all the gals would get together and drink Cosmos and whatever. Sex in the City, right?
And the city.
And the City.
Yeah.
And she's like,
in the
no,
City.
we sat and watched all of them. We went to the movies. It's Sex in the City. I'm like, and.
Wait, what? No.
See? Now we just created
We've
the
added
Mandela
another
effect
one
for you.
Yeah.
What?
Sex and the
And
City.
the city, yeah.
I feel like I just saw this on HBO last night.
Now you have to go back. The universe just changed around you.
Honest to God.
You have that feeling, though. Like you feel like you're out of place in the universe. Like things shift a little bit when that happens. When you get that realization that this vivid memory that you have is totally wrong.
Right.
It's like, it can't be wrong because I remember it. And I remember it like it's not a vague memory.
Vividly.
Yeah.
Vividly. Oscar Mayer wieners, right? Baloney. Worst thing on the planet.
Why?
If you haven't seen that made, don't. It's not. It's Oscar Mayer. It's Mayer. And the song even
The song
is
spells it.
Mayer. But everybody says Oscar Mayer, Meyer. There's just a lot of like Skechers. There's no T.
Right? Yeah.
It's just Skechers.
CH, yeah.
I mean, there's so many examples. Fruit Loops, right? It was never spelled like fruit.
It
was
ROO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double stuff Oreos.
I don't like Oreos.
There's
so I
one
don't
F.
know about this.
There's one F, not two. Most people remember two.
I have a theory with the Fruit Loops. I think they call it FROOT because that way you don't have to actually claim that it's actually fruit. Because fruit with two O's.
Because it's not.
Oh, I love Fruit Loops. Oh,
This one kind of blew my mind a little bit too. Kit Kat, right? I always remembered the package with a hyphen between them.
Yes, I just pictured it with hyphen.
And there has never been a hyphen. See, I mean, we're just proving this all over live radio.
what is happening right
That's
now?
exactly what is happening. There's so many bizarre examples of this, or like, you know, CP3 or C3PO. Easy for me to say. You know, it was all gold.
But he was,
Right. But he wasn't.
But he wasn't because he had one silver leg. So I don't know. It's bizarre. Flintstones, right? I vividly remember Flynn Stones. Nope, two T's. Flintstones.
Yeah. That one never got me. For me, I guess because the whole thing was built around rock puns and Flint
Right.
fits into that. That's probably why I don't remember that one.
How
the way
about
you do.
who is, and this is probably before your time, but the co-host of the Johnny Carson show,
Ed McMahon,
Ed McMahon. What was he also famous for?
Publishers Clearinghouse?
Yeah, delivering big checks to people, right? I mean, all of us growing up know that, right?
Yeah.
Nope, he was never actually with Publishers Clearinghouse ever once. He was American Family Publishing.
Yeah.
But we all remember him with Publishers Clearinghouse. Some of the other crazy ones are lines from movies. You know,
Yes.
famous lines from movies. Luke, I am your father. Nope, he never said that. He said, no, I am your father.
I think that one, kind of makes sense because if you are talking about the movie with your friends,
Right.
No, I'm Your Father lacks context.
Right.
You you have to talk about Luke in there, and so you kind of in your mind shift it around so you get that in there.
And then it became popularized, and so that's what people said. You know, one of the most famous lines from Forrest Gump, right?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Right.
Oh, my mind went another
the
place.
actual line is, "Life, it was a box of chocolates." So play it again, Sam.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Never said it.
He just says play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
he
that one-
said, I think he actually said, play it once, Sam, for old times or for.
That's what she says.
Oh, that's what she says.
says, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Ingrid Bergman says it.
Yeah, she said that's Ingrid Bergman
Ingrid
says
Bergman,
that.
okay.
But then later on, he just says play it. I think.
Yeah. He just
Yeah.
demands
But again,
that he play it.
That's kind of like the Star Wars thing, though, where play it
Right. It
doesn't-
means nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't. It lacks the context of the significance of that moment. So you got to have Sam in there and again.
Right.
But the magic mirror on the wall doesn't fit that theory
No.
because mirror on the wall, magic mirror on the wall doesn't. There's no real significance between those two.
Right. But why? Why? It was it because people just after seeing it were like, "Oh, I love that scene where mirror, mirror," and
Yeah.
it just gained popularity,
It's
so
more-
people remember it that
it's
way.
more
I had,
poetic,
I had a
maybe.
jewelry box that had that on there. And it was like on the mirror.
Did it
So
say
that's-
mirror on
Yeah.
the wall?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's all it said.
That way, it's not.
That's-
It's not a copyright infringement that way.
They're like, "What could we do to change?"
I mean, it was
yeah.
probably from Walmart.
Yeah,
being
that's
honest.
true.
Right.
It was probably a knockoff anyway.
Yeah.
Jaws, famous movie, you know, and he says, "Oh, we're going to need a bigger boat." No, you're going to need a bigger boat. He didn't include himself in that
I've
at
actually
all.
never seen that movie.
And that was
Oh
another
my
one.
goodness, that's your assignment.
Yeah, that was another one that doesn't make sense in the like adding context theory.
Right.
There's no real significance between those two that makes one better than the other.
Right.
So
or
why-
gives you any, direction as to where it's coming from.
Right. And so why do so many people remember it the other way?
Who knows? That's but that's the craziest thing is you go out and I've talked to a bunch of people about this over the last week or so, and it's funny how many people are misremembering these things.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really interesting about it because I can understand like, me personally remembering something wrong.
Sure.
But the fact that a lot of other people remember it wrong and remember it wrong in the same way,
Exactly.
that's the interesting thing.
Iconic scene from, I don't know, what was it, 80s, 90s movie, Risky Business. Tom Cruise is home alone, comes sliding out, and he's singing. What's he dressed like?
He has the white long sleeve shirt on and white socks and a broom, right?
It's actually kind of a pinkish looking shirt, and most people remember the sunglasses because he was kind of iconic for he didn't
yeah.
have sunglasses on.
Huh.
But I talked to a bunch of people about that. They're like, "Oh yeah, these sunglasses and the white shirt." I'm like,
Now, that one could
Okay.
be that's the Alexander Hamilton thing where you kind of combine the iconic image
right.
associated with that time period in that movie
Right.
and that scene. You kind of blend them together.
How about Silence of the Lambs?
Okay.
Right? She comes walking in to meet Hannibal Lecter. What does he say to her?
Oh, I don't remember.
The line would be "Hello, Clarice,"
Right.
but
it's not. He actually said, "Good morning."
not nearly as ominous.
Which is bizarre, though, because when we were doing that Halloween
yeah,
horror
We did
film
we did those-
thing,
yeah.
we did a bunch of ads. And in that, I even specifically said, "Hello, Clarice."
And everyone knew who it was.
And everybody was like, "Oh, yeah, Hannibal Lecter." I'm like, when I read that, I'm like, oh,
That
I guess I
movie-
screwed that up. I should have said good morning.
That movie freaks me out.
Would
Oh
you
my
like some
gosh.
coffee? Yeah.
yeah, it's about breakfast time.
I
Oh, don't join him for breakfast.
I'm having an old friend for dinner.
oh, no.
Kind of like what do you get if you go to Jeffrey Dahmer's house late for dinner?
Nah,
The cold shoulder. Yeah.
Oh my god.
How about Ricky Ricardo, right?
yes.
I Love Lucy. And he was always, "Lucy, you got some splaining to do." Nope, never said it. Never
Not
said,
in any of those episodes.
never once. He said, "Splain that if you can," but he never said, "Lucy, you have some splaining to do."
That's-
Which is what everybody always quotes him as saying.
What?
So you thought you didn't have any Mandela
Yeah,
effects.
see, and I think that goes back to the poll question of people going, "Nah, I haven't had any,"
Right.
because they didn't really know a lot of these or have
yeah.
that context to go off of.
That's the thing, is if you remember these things and no one says, well, actually it was this way,
Right.
then as far as you know, everything's fine. The
Exactly.
universe is how it ought to be.
I'm kind of, I don't know. The more I looked through these, the more I was like, I've got some sort of memory issue, because
I take those pills that they advertise on TV.
yeah,
Yes.
because I remember a movie called Kazam,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it had
The genie thing.
the genie, and it was Sinbad. Sinbad was Shazam.
Shazam, yeah.
Nope. It was actually Shaquille O'Neal, and it was Kazam.
For why? Okay, first off, why?
Yeah, right.
Well, it was the 90s.
It was the 90s.
A lot of things
we were short on.
went in the 90s that wouldn't go any other time.
How about the big bear on all of the fire, like wildfire stuff? What's his name?
Smokey?
What's his full name?
Smokey the Bear?
No, Smokey Bear. There is no that.
What?
Yep. But everybody thinks that there was. How about the guy in Tiananmen Square? I mean, that's iconic.
Standing in front of the tank.
Standing in front of the tank.
Yeah.
What happened to that guy?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Most people think he got run over.
Did he move?
Yeah, he was fine. There's video of him walking out of the way and nothing really happened. But
I think Smokey the Bear, that's a thing where you combine it with Winnie the Pooh. I think that's probably
That
where that
could
comes
be.
from.
that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
My brain is just like, you know.
Our no's are turning to yeses on the poll question, I can imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
Or some of the unsures, at least, are probably shifting over.
How about the I Love Rock and Roll, Joan Jett? Mm-hmm. I mean, where did she see him and what was he doing?
I can't remember. He was by the record machine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was he doing though?
I don't know.
Most people think he was standing,
Yeah.
right? He was standing next to the record machine. No, he was dancing.
Ah. Well, David Lee Roth had his back against the record machine.
He did.
And that is probably where that comes from.
That could be. It's bizarre. A lot of people think that Mother Teresa was canonized, like back in the 90s or whatever. That actually didn't happen until 2016. So, I mean,
Really?
you've got like a decade and a half time shift there where people are like, oh, yeah, I watched it on TV. I was a little kid. Da-da. No, actually was not that long ago.
2016?
2016.
Wow. No, I thought it was a lot earlier than that.
See? And but why? Why? Why is that?
Because the universe changed. I mean,
Possibly.
which is the most...
Control, delete.
Yeah, which is the most... I mean, I don't know which is the most plausible out of those explanations.
Honestly. The Lindbergh baby. Everybody, oh, that was so horrible. It disappeared and they never knew what happened and the case went cold and blah, blah. No, it was literally, I think...
There was a ransom, I think.
There was a ransom and a lot of things were going on and the case went cold and everything was horrible. But actually, the body of the baby was found and the guy was sentenced to death and was put to death.
Isn't that interesting?
But most people think that that's the longest unsolved crime on the planet. And it's not.
That is really interesting.
It's very bizarre.
I wonder if the Mandela effect, the actual Mandela one, is going to be less impactful over time as people who weren't alive during his imprisonment, kind of phase out.
Right. Well, and it's kind of interesting because I would ask people, I'm like, well, have you ever, had the Mandela effect? And they're like, I don't know what that is. And some people were like, what's that even about? Who's it named after?
right,
and
yeah.
I'm like, okay. But other people are like, oh, I know exactly what that is. And they're like, oh, yeah. And they tell me their stories. And most of them, too, that Louis VIII in particular with the big giant turkey leg. Most people remember it that way.
That's true. That one will not change over time. I think the Mandela one will because you had to be alive during his imprisonment to think that he died during that time. Where if you just learn the history of it, you're not going to learn that he died in prison. So.
Right. You're going to know that he was out and actually went on to be the president.
We have a caller. Let's go to that. Good morning. You're on the Jackson Electric Open Line.
Good morning. I just heard you mention Smokey the Bear. Well,
Yes.
I grew up with the Smokey Bear people, and actually from the same area, and the history of that. And they did call him Smokey the Bear a lot, but they corrected that later on. It's Smokey the Bear, and like they would say, you don't say Easter the Bunny, you say Easter Bunny.
Right. So even people involved in it would still kind of slip up then.
Yeah, I guess. But it is kind of funny that Smokey the Bear, it's a real story, and it's quite interesting if you ever get into it. And he was probably the most successful fire prevention program that ever has come along, or program of any kind, basically.
Yeah, very true.
Yes. Yeah. And it is quite interesting, but yeah, he is Smokey Bear.
Yeah,
I may start referring to it as Easter the Bunny, though. I kind of like that. It's kind of got a ring to it. Santa the Claus.
I was going to say Santa the Claus. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the call. We should probably get a break in. What do you think, Trevor? Is that a good idea? Yes, let's do that. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more. This is the Jackson Electric Open Line on News Talk 930 KROE.
Jackson Electric and you'll see the light. Maybe it's as simple as adding an extra outlet. Maybe it's as detailed as wiring an industrial building. Maybe it's high-efficiency LED lighting or fire alarm system or phone system installation and repair. Maybe it's data system wiring, irrigation wiring, or electric motor sales and repair. Commercial, residential, industrial, agriculture, above ground, below ground. Call Jackson Electric and you'll see the light. 1851 North Main in Sheridan.
Once again, the WYO Theater brings Western movie matinees back to the big screen. Each Sunday at 2 p.m., the WYO Theater will feature a hand-picked classic Western film with a celebrity host. This Sunday, we have the world-famous horseman and Western movie expert, Buck Brannaman, introducing Red River, starring John Wayne, Montgomery Clift, and Walter Brennan. John Wayne plays Thomas Dunson, who leads a 10,000-cow cattle herd to its destination in Missouri. But his tyrannical behavior along the way causes a mutiny, led by his adopted son, played by Montgomery Clift. Red River is a great adventure Western, considered as the very best among all Westerns, and undoubtedly is one of John Wayne's really great acting performances, and sponsored by Jeff Ware and Carmel Timmons, Jim and Angie Navarro, The Neal Ranch, Letterbuck Car Wash, Christine Gemp Love Foundation, True Built Builders, Mickey and Kathy McNichol, Vacutech, Gene and Vicki Sterling, and John and Helen Isley Family Foundation.
Get a running start to the new year and check out the Sheridan Rec District's Resolution 5K Run. The fun begins January 7th at the Rec District, with registration only $10, starting at 9:30 a.m., with the racing at 10 a.m. Plus, there will be a raffle for goodies following the race. Make this year count, and what better way than with the Resolution 5K? You can also register on SheridanRecDistrict.com, stop by the office, or call 674-6421.
Life can be fast-paced and it can be hard to get things done, but we're here to help make your home loan process easy. Hi, this is Whitney Sweeney, mortgage loan originator at First Northern Bank of Wyoming. While we'd love to see you, we also offer an easy online mortgage application to help apply for a home loan in just minutes. We offer competitive rates and can get you pre-qualified same day. Visit firstnorthern.bank to start your application today or give us a call at 673-HOME. We look forward to helping you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124841.
As a local store owner, I want to say thank you. I'm Nikki with Roosters. We appreciate your shopping local and keeping your dollars here in our community. When you shop with us, that allows us to support local events, benefits, and charities, which in turn keeps those dollars local too. So I want to take this time to say a sincere thank you to all our customers, both current and those we haven't even met yet, for shopping local and shopping at Roosters, 1755 South Sheridan Avenue.
Don't miss the Rafter T. Angus Annual Bull Sale, Saturday, January 14th at Buffalo Livestock Auction. Cale and Kim Kretschmann and family will offer a top group of range-ready yearling Angus bulls, and there'll be free wintering and free delivery. The quality will be outstanding, and the bulls will be ready to go to work. So come for lunch at 11:30. The sale time is 1 p.m. sharp. Request a catalog from their website, raftertangus.com, and get entered in a drawing for $500 in sale day credit. For more, contact the Kretschmanns at raftertangus.com.
The COVID time warp?
Yeah, the COVID time warp. Not from, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's a different time warp.
Yeah.
This is the Jackson Electric Open Line on News Talk 930 KROE. Streaming at SheridanMedia.com, Facebook and YouTube as well. Like, I got a front page thing, I think, as long as Stephen Treffler has everything working. I'm assuming by now either he's given up or he has it fixed.
I would imagine he has it fixed.
Trevor, do we have another call? No? Okay. We're going to talk about some of the possible explanations for all these things. And one of those is that we're right and the universe is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So let's talk about that. How you mentioned CERN. Obviously, you're messing with quantum things.
Yeah, you're
Strange
messing with
stuff can happen.
Here's the thing. I love when science messes with things that science doesn't understand. Like, what could the ramifications of that be?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Quantum physics, we're barely scratching the surface of that. But then they build a machine. They're like, we're going to mess with quantum physics. And you're like, okay.
Is this smart?
Yeah. But did that have an effect? Could it have had an effect? How would we know
Right.
if
That's
it
the
had an
thing.
effect?
If you're in the Matrix, you don't know you're in the Matrix.
Right.
That's the thing.
Unless you do know you're in the Matrix, because there's some guy outside keying in, like, okay, we're going to take the cornucopia away from the from the Fruit of the Loom thing and see who pays attention. And they're the ones that we want to come with us.
So
I don't know. I mean,
in that theory, the ones who remember it wrong are actually right.
correct. And those are the people that actually are functioning.
They have some
We'll
special
call it.
abilities that the others don't.
Right.
Like a special perception.
Or is it just simply your brain putting a couple of things together or filling in blanks that you think should be there? Like the cornucopia, like I said, at Thanksgiving, I mean, it's iconic. It's all of the stuff coming out of the Horn of Plenty.
Right.
So you go, oh, well, there's fruit and stuff. It's got to be coming out of a cornucopia.
I think that definitely explains a lot of them, but not all of them.
Not all, and one of the standouts though is Snow White, because most everyone recites that incorrectly. So again, is that just popularity? Is that people misquoting it and it just took on a life of its own, or is it because you can put it on a mirror and not have copyright infringement?
Or
so
someone
that's in
said
front
it
of
wrong.
you?
Someone said it wrong the first time, and then
And it just
pulled
took
a whole-
off,
yeah.
right? But that one, I mean, we've all seen that, and we all remember it incorrectly.
It does explain the James Bond one I had, because Moonraker is probably one of the jokiest Bond films.
Oh, absolutely.
Of all of them. And that's the joke, that she has the braces. That's the joke.
The joke.
So-
at the end.
Yeah.
And
So-
then she doesn't.
I think it's a missed opportunity by the filmmakers. We remember it because, as a Bond fan, I like those films. And I
Right.
think, hey, these films are great. And so I remember them better than they actually are, even the ones that aren't so good.
Right. Right.
I tend to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt and said, well, that was a clever thing that they should have done. And now I remember it that way.
And that's so is that it? You go, okay, it would have been better with this, so now I'm going to remember it that way.
Yeah, and I don't think you consciously do it.
No.
I think you just, over time, because it's not one of those really important things that you have to remember exactly right because your life depends on it.
Right.
But it's something that you are kind of passionate about, and so you will have a vivid memory of it.
But why do you have it so vividly that when you see that it's not that way, it just torques you?
And why do so many people have the same incorrect version of the memory?
Right.
That's what's
Is
weird.
that global consciousness? Is that,
Yeah.
what is that?
Human memory definitely sucks. I mean, if you think about how many days you've been alive and how many of those days you remember correctly, I mean, you don't even remember any of them probably completely.
I'm up to like maybe half.
I'm like,
Half a day?
I'm like Dory. I have like short-term memory loss. Like,
Yeah, so you think about, like, you have 10 people who witness an event, and then a week later you bring them in and have them describe what they saw. You will get 10 different versions of what happened.
well, it's like a crime scene. Like you have 4 different people come in and say, like, okay, what did you see at this crime scene? Like the same thing. You're gonna have 4 different suspects
Yeah.
saying 2 different things, like all these.
and some of
different
those things will contradict each other.
Yeah.
And I actually wrote a term paper one time. I staged this thing where people were to the left, people were to the right, and people were in front, and played out a scene, and then wrote a term paper on why history is called his story, because the people on the left could only see part of it, people on the right could only see part of it, and the people in the middle saw the whole thing, and none of their stories matched up.
Right.
So is it that? Is it, somebody said, oh, it was so funny in Moonraker because she had braces, and you're like, I know, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
I
like
don't
what you're
know.
exposed to, like what you see every day, who you're around, and if they see the same things, like if they do the same things. As
Right,
you,
or
maybe.
if you're being nice, and they're like, "Oh, the braces, Steve, right?" And you're like, "Yeah, the braces." That do
Yeah,
this."
yeah.
But then you end up
Screwball.
kind of remembering it that way.
Maybe. I think the internet has actually amplified that issue because you will now get groups of people who believe certain things that are incorrect, but they will have their own support group for people who believe these things.
Right.
And then because it's there and you can look it up and research it and see all of their documented evidence of whatever this is, it gives it legitimacy.
Well, and
Evidence.
it's kind of also broken it in a way because if you Google the fruit of the loom,
Right.
now there is one with a cornucopia.
Like what one is real?
Yeah, and if you look up Jiffy peanut butter, they've got like T-shirts and stickers for your water bottle,
Yeah.
of which I kind of want one.
Yeah.
I actually thought about getting the Louis VIII with the turkey leg and just putting it on the wall.
Yeah.
Just a t-shirt.
So then it becomes correct.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. What do you make it correct yourself or does someone else?
Yeah.
It's 2023. You can make correct whatever you want, apparently.
All the rules are broken now.
Everything's out the door.
We have to squeeze in one more commercial break. We'll get that done right now. Come back and wrap things up. This is the Jackson Electric Open Line on News Talk 930 KROE.
Plug into Jackson Electric and feel the power. If it has anything to do with electricity, anything at all, call Jackson Electric. Commercial, residential, agricultural, it makes no difference. Call Jackson Electric. Jackson Electric does high-efficiency LED lighting and fire alarm systems installation, wiring at home, wiring a business, new electrical service, or enlarging existing service. Call Jackson Electric and you'll see the light. 1851 North Main in Sheridan.
Buffalo Realty has just the property you've been looking for. Let's talk about 23 Black Mountain Drive in Dayton. This is a very spacious 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom home with an office/bonus room featuring a new stove, dishwasher, and microwave. Not only that, but we're talking new landscaping and fencing as well. Throw in an attached 2-car garage and mountain views that'll steal this deal for you. Call Buffalo Realty and ask for Dolly Bellis about 23 Black Mountain Drive in Dayton.
Once a Packer fan, always a Packer fan. It's canned Ice Baby here. VIP with Sheridan Honda and Power Sports and First Northern Bank Pro Football Pick'em. Did you hear what happened this week? Let's recap.
We're going to take a look at this past week's score. 12 points, Candace.
Yeah, big week.
Congratulations.
I do have to shout out my friends. They might have helped me as we were picking.
They might have?
Well, drunkenly at the bar on New Year's Eve at the Mint. They might have helped me with some of the picks.
I think they did
ask
help
these
you.
friends where they've been.
I know exactly. I know.
Trevor Jackson. The big dog is coming.
Were you at the Mint too, Trev?
Yeah, were you there and I didn't see you?
I don't have any friends.
Violent.
We're sorry. The big dog.
You can join us. Make your picks. You'll have the chance to win a prize valued at $100 if you have the high score for the week. Make your picks on the Pro Football Pick'em contest page on SheridanMedia.com. Oh, and tune in every Wednesday morning at 7:40 to KROE 103.9.
This is the Jackson Electric Open Line. I can't say that today for some reason. This used to be called the Jackson Electric Open Line on News Talk 930 KROE, but now
With
it's
the
some
Mandela
weird-
effect.
Yeah, it's just a
It's
jumble.
happening.
It's a bunch of consonants all together now. There's no vowels in there. We have a call. Let's go to that real quickly. Good morning. You're on the Jackson Electric Open Line.
Yes, just what's the poll question?
Yes. About the Mandela effect?
What?
It was, have you experienced the Mandela effect?
Oh, okay. I got you. All right, that's what I wanted to know. Thanks.
Okay. Well, thanks for the call. We have to wrap things up real quickly. I think I can't say for sure that it's not that the universe changed, but I think the most likely explanation is that the human brain is really kludgy and doesn't work very well, and our memory is horrible.
Right.
Out of my entire life, I probably have a handful of vivid memories of significant things that happened.
Yeah, but are they correct?
Your core memory.
Yeah, and most of those are probably not completely correct.
Right. But the goofy thing will be, like I said, over the break, 20 years from now. If all of a sudden somebody's like, oh, yeah, during 2020, no one wore a mask. And you're like, what?
I was there.
Yeah.
I saw it. But then how will you know if that's right or not? That's the
won't.
question. Thank you for joining us today. Jackson Electric Open Line on News Talk 930 KROE. Jimmy Fela coming up next.
electrical applications, Jackson Electric has the knowledge, experience, and reputation to meet and exceed any electrical need or equipment. Jackson Electric expertise even includes phone systems, data systems, LED lighting systems, fire alarm systems, and irrigation systems, residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural. If it has anything to do with electricity, anything at all, Jackson Electric does it. 1851 North Main in Sheridan. The owners and staff at Kane's Funeral Home would like to thank the families of Sheridan and Johnson counties for choosing Kane's and allowing them to serve you during these hard times. Kane Funeral Home makes it their mission to take the stress and uncertainty out of ceremonial services. They own and operate the only crematory in Sheridan County, so your loved one is always in their care. Kane's Funeral Home. Call 673-5837 or visit them online at kanefuneral.com.
Have you thought about when you'd like to retire? One of your major assets in planning for retirement is time. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement. Then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally,